I'm Tracy Baxter with today's Record Newswatch.
Valley View is my family, so please, county executors, if you have a heart, you wouldn't do this to your mothers, fathers, grandparents, any members of your family, just throw them out in the street.
Nancy Walker, one of the many people who came to the Emergency Services Auditorium in Goshen today to speak out against the latest attempt being made to sell the Orange County-owned Valley View nursing home. Valley View supporters packed a public hearing urging the county legislature to once again reject the proposal to transfer Valley View to a local development corporation so it can be sold to a private developer. Speakers took County Executive Steve Newhouse to task for putting the issue back on the table when they say significant cost savings have been achieved at Valley View.
I had thought the legislature overwhelmingly decided to give these changes and reforms at Valley View a chance. Clearly there are some that have had second thoughts on that position. We can debate the numbers, but there is no debate whatsoever that there have been significant improvements at Valley View in reducing costs, and we need to continue giving those changes a chance, and that's all we're asking for. Let's put a pause on this. Let's hold still. Let's not rush.
And everybody kept saying, well, we're not going to close, we're not going to close. But of course, when everybody went through their elections and their campaigning, when they say we're not going to close, that doesn't mean they're not going to sell. And that's why we're standing here today.
The county legislature is scheduled to vote on the Valley View transfer proposal next Wednesday. If the measure does gain approval this time around, the LDC would then solicit bids and handle the future sale. A teacher at the Jean Black School in the town of Wallkill has been charged with endangering the welfare of a child for her treatment of a 3-year-old special needs child at the school. Sharon Behush is accused of erecting a barrier in the classroom, segregating the nonverbal child from other students for the entire school day, not allowing the child to attend scheduled activities, including lunch and snack time. Behush also allegedly kept the child in a urine-soaked diaper throughout the day. Following her arrest, she was released pending a town court appearance April 10th. The Middletown School Board has adopted a budget for the upcoming school year, and to the relief of those who turned out for the meeting last night, the spending plan does not include the closing of Middletown's Truman Moon Elementary School. Speakers young and old asked the board to spare Truman Moon, and while that option was taken off the table, the district took other measures to close a $1.4 million budget gap. By cutting all budget lines by 1.5% and using $663,000 from the district's unallocated fund balance. Budget will also include the cutting of 23 full-time staff positions. During the meeting, Middletown Teachers Association President Christopher White voiced a plea to save teacher jobs.
I would be remiss in my duty as an MTA officer if I didn't ask you to please keep our staff intact. It is educationally sound. Given the stresses that the state has put on us and the further state mandates, it is more important than ever to have teachers in classrooms to provide quality education to our students. Cutting teachers would only be a disservice to these students.
If I had my way, we would have been able to convince the legislature to pay us fully back so we wouldn't have any of these conversations. The issue is, though, when we look at least impact academically to the mission or any damage to the mission, how do you get around that, understanding that anything you do will hurt somebody?
Superintendent Ken Eastwood said while he did not support taking money from the fund balance, he said he understood the board's decision and will carry it out. And the Newburgh School District won't be losing an elementary school either. During a board meeting there last night, Superintendent Ralph Pizzo announced that an additional state aid will mean the district won't have to close one of its elementary schools. New Windsor Elementary, Baumville, or Horizons on the Hudson schools. School had been considered for a possible closure there because of what had been a $10.4 million budget gap. But the Newburgh district budget still contains more than 60 job cuts, including nearly 40 teaching positions. Many attending last night's board meeting voiced the opinion that the district is too top-heavy and that cuts should have been made within the central administration. In Goshen today, Jaquel James pled not guilty at his arraignment on first-degree murder and robbery charges for his role in the robbery and fatal shooting of a Newburgh man in January. Police used cell phone records to track down James in Georgia. The 21-year-old Newburgh man is accused of robbing then shooting Jared Plant several times. Plant tried to drive away, but his car crashed into a building. He was pronounced dead after being rushed to a hospital. If convicted of the top murder count, both James and co-defendant Daryl Daniels of Newburgh would face a maximum sentence of life without parole and a minimum of 20 years to life. This was the scene in Port Jervis back on January 15, 2013. Firemen responded to a blaze at number 8 Mountain Avenue. Inside, emergency personnel discovered the body of 35-year-old Tyrochelle Houghton. And this week, the trial began for the man accused of killing her, then setting the fire to cover up the crime. Prosecutors say 39-year-old David Stevenson attacked Houghton, his girlfriend, with a hammer and knife, slashing her throat, then setting the blaze. Police found him burned and unconscious in the street near the house. Stevenson's on trial for second-degree murder, arson, and animal cruelty because the family dog died in the blaze. This is more than just a pile of debris, it's a crime scene. According to Sullivan County District Attorney Jim Farrell, the debris is what's left following the demolition last year of the old village courthouse in Monticello, which led to a state investigation and a few arrests. Earlier this week, Monticello Mayor Gordon Jenkins and his supporters on the village board voted to accept a bid to clear the rubble, but Farrell says the site should remain untouched because of the continuing investigation by the state DEC into alleged illegal dumping of some of the debris on property off Fairground Road. 6 workers were charged with illegal dumping. What remains of the old courthouse has sat untouched since October. Police in the area have made another major heroin arrest. This time it happened after a car was pulled over for traffic law violations on the Quickway in the town of Monroe. State police discovered 170 decks of heroin in the vehicle along with a quantity of marijuana. That led to the arrest of 2 Middletown men, 18-year-old Dwayne Lukes and 23-year-old Nakeem Santiago. Both have been charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance and unlawful possession of marijuana. And students at the Homestead School in Glen Spey have been getting a first-hand look at the benefits of solar energy. 140 solar panels are providing all the electricity needs for the 200-student school. Officials there say the solar power saves the building about $5,000 a year. The idea to make the Montessori-based school energy independent came from the students themselves. Reporter James Walsh takes a closer look at this solar school in an upcoming edition of the Times-Herald Record and right here at Record Online. Any leftover rain should end by early tomorrow morning, leaving us with plenty of sunshine this weekend. Saturday will be mostly sunny once the clouds and light rain clear out. It'll be a little windy Saturday with temperatures getting up around 55 degrees. More sunshine in the forecast for Sunday with the highs at or near 60 degrees. Well, stay connected to what's happening all weekend long by clicking right here at Record Online. For Record Newswatch, I'm Tracy Baxter.